Hello, great people, are you there? There is a new development. Yes, we are heading for the tribunal. Sooner, the tribunal will start. That's the Presidential Election Tribunal. But there is one important thing. The Nigerian Bar Association chairman has asked that the tribunal sittings be televised so that we will see every detail, everything. In fact, it's like a season of World Cup matches. We will be seeing detail by detail, and Nigerians can be able to raise eyebrows in case anything is going wrong. And with that too, it makes the process transparent, and all eyes will see, and those in the picture, those who are being focused on, will do the right things. Are you ready? Let's see this video and we'll be right back to analyze it.
Judges will be members of the various election tribunals across the Federation. This has set the stage for legal battles for these people contesting the results announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The president of the NBA, Yakubu Mikiao, has asked that the proceedings of the Presidential Election Tribunal should be broadcast live as a way of ensuring transparency of the trial. As the judges prepare to hear these cases, Nigerians are looking forward to a transparent and fair process. The question is, what will the tribunals do to engender trust and confidence in judicial outcomes?
And of course, Dr. Salma Mahdi, Arashi's analyst, now joins us to really try to provide an answer to that question. Thank you, Dr. Mahdi, for being here. And of course, the issue, we have to look at the issue that will confront the Election Petition Tribunal, specifically that of the presidency, as it concerns, the conscious transparency, which, of course, a lot of people have said, INEC should have done better. So now it's up to the court, to all eyes. So looking at transparency and public trust, what should the tribunal be doing to ensure these two things are done, or at least seem to be done?
Absolutely. I think, like they say, justice is not just done, but seem to be done. And from the public, who are not lawyers, who are not technical people, the optics is as important as the substance. The appearance of justice. Lawyers can go through the script and see the arguments of my lords on the panel, but the unknown lawyers will likely see more the optics, the science, the drama, and the symbolisms. So the first thing is that this is not just any other kind of electoral cases. This is also a case cases are coming up in an election that seem to have mobilized and divided us a lot. So you see, we never had this level of, if you look at social media activism, look at youth participation, the numbers that registered tells a story around political awakening. And the countries at the juncture where the election parallels 1993 in the sense of candidates and some of the grand rhetorics that accompanied it. So what that means is that you're going to see, again, this is also a very low time for the judiciary. If you compare the judiciary now, especially the Supreme Court, and compare with 1980s, 85, 90s, this Supreme Court, this judiciary, not just Supreme Court, this judiciary has massive discredit. Merited or not, it might not be their fault, but the perception, one, of judicializations, when the court upsets too many elections, people get worried. And when the reasons seem not to align with the public sense of electoral justice, it weakens further the confidence of the court. And don't forget that the courts trade on trust. When we see the judge bewigged with looking stern, we convey the sense that this is a man who is likely going to act not on sentiment, but more on facts and theory. Again, then what the court should be doing first is ensure that they build up that public trust. And when the NBA prints talked about transmission of election, that's really important. To give an example, third term in Parliament, when there was a bill to give President Obasanjo a third term agenda, one of the things that saved us was that the National Assembly, that I was a special advisor to the Senate President, Ken Namani, they instituted open hearing. So people were watching it and hearing how their various senators contributed, and when the bill died, Nobody, don't forget that there was stories around 50 million bribe for legislators. But that open session diffused, deflected it. So people saw the transparency. And one of the things we said then was that due process is more important than outcome. That for decision making, oftentimes, it's not about who won, who the court affirmed. It's about the perception and the transparency of the process the court. So I think the first thing the courts want to be doing is setting up, reassuring the public through their official communication that they really want to do justice. And secondly, as much as possible, allowing real-time observation of this, especially the Principal Tribunal, which is the Court of Appeal, a very serious court. So if they can do that and then manage appearance from now till then, none of these judges, they should kind of tactical exclusion from normal social activities, because when you appoint A and B to a panel to do senatorial election, people want to see, when they see you and the candidate somewhere drinking or somewhere in socializing. So there should be some voluntarily imposed seclusion of a sort, social restrictions for activities. Because, look, judging from the Raleigh School of Law, which I belong to, is like, judges are like us, they live with among us. So people are going to attribute ethnicity, the identity issues, moral issues, comprehensive moral views to them as well. But the less we see them, entangled with those settings, the more we treat them with special wisdom and, oracular, quietude and objectivity. But the more we see them mingling, and the less we know what they are doing, the more conspiratorial. So I think that the best bet now for the court, not just for the candidates, to save the image, the biggest person on trial in this electoral cycle now, it was INEC. INEC failed that test and have passed the buck. Now, Judiciary is on trial. So I think if I was managing the Chief Judge or the President of the Court of Appeal or the Chief Justice of Nigeria, I would be thinking more around how do we secure the integrity of the judicial system? Because we've seen that it will take us a long time to fix the electoral system. It takes a long time for the executive and the regulatory agencies to do their job. But we have a shortcut to democracy through the courts. So if the courts courageous, if the courts show a lot of integrity and willing to enhance public trust, we might be getting from the back door what we lost for the front door. So the courts really are carrying but they are under trial. So the reason why they should be more transparent is not because of the candidates, to secure the integrity of the judiciary, which we need to sustain democracy.
Now, in this desperation, quote unquote, or in this move to secure the trust and the sanity of the judiciary, how do we now differentiate between this transparency, this move for transparency, and grandstanding?
Very good point. I mean, see, the notion about, I'll give you an example. The U.S. Supreme Court last period had hearings that were online broadcast in real life. I was here in Nigeria. I was listening to the arguments between the Chief Justice, the Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, and the clients, especially in the case involving freedom of religion under Biden during the coronavirus. They did in real time. It's not grandstanding, actually. It's about the court offering people to say, by the way, the courts are actually open to everybody. But what we're not talking about is the court being able to transmit, because that day will be packed, only lawyers, few lawyers, and maybe stakeholders will be able to get access.
Well, even the media usually
will be asked to
stay outside.
But in this case, imagine if, and it would be best if it's a court-moderated telecast or streaming. So it's not like anybody's going to distort the message. The court itself will open it up, and people can tap in.
Well, there are suggestions by the NBA president, and even one of the candidates, Peter Obi, has also suggested that to actually gain that public trust.
It's critical because look, this election is not just about politicians are always merchants in hope, but we're actually in a bad place. It's a bad spot as a country in terms of unity, in terms of trust in institutions. The Afrobarometer test before this election showed very, very poor. If you look at 12% trust in INEC, trust in election, trust in judiciary. So it has gone down with this crisis of the election. So to ramp it up, to sustain post-election governance, you need transparency. So this is not grandstanding. It's in the interest of the courts, the judiciary, and the political system that somehow people sit in their rooms and say, well, we can see why A lost or why B won. And not based on social media reporting of where they applied to have the server or applied to have somebody testify and the judge didn't know that somebody would say the truth and he knocked it off. You don't want to have those kind of narratives in this particular electoral.
So it's up to the judiciary really to save the day.
Is what the Court of Appeal.
Well, we'll wait and see if the President of the Court of Appeal will heed to this advice by the NBA President and, of course, some candidates saying, you know what, leave the process open so Nigerians can monitor and deduce for themselves.
And we can heal early and reconcile the post-election,
which is quite critical. Dr. Sam Amadi, our Rice News analyst, we have to say thank you so much.
Have you heard that? The legal battles are about to begin. And it's not like they have accepted the request. They said President of the Nigeria Bar Association is making that request that the court proceedings, everything should be aired for Nigerians to see, most especially for other lawyers, who cannot come to the court to see, and for the sake of transparency. Yes. And if they are not hiding anything, he should accede to this request quickly. That's the appeal court. Appeal court is a designated court for trying of electoral matters. When it's not yet done there, they can proceed to the Supreme Court. But the appeal court is a designated court in Nigeria. So, for transparency's sake, if they will accede to that request, so that Nigerians will not have doubt at the end of the day, Nigerians will see everything as it unfolds. Meanwhile, there is something our guest noted, that it will be something doctored by them. That's the videoing. It will be doctored by the courts. As they will dictate, just like the director of a movie dictates the shots, the style of the shots. So, we will like it. We want to watch it like football match, a case whereby you know how many people that are watching you. You have to act very well. That is our desire. If the person in charge of the appeal court will accept that request, and I think Nigerians should make such demands. Nigerians should en masse demand that it being transmitted live. Not few recordings from their, their English. Hey, it's going to be great. Yes, because from there, we'll be knowing, people can see and they'll be able to this thing don't they go this way or the other way. And I like the instance cited by, the example cited by the man in the studio, Dr. Amadi. He said there was a time, I think one of Naman from Enugu was a Senate president or deputy Senate president. There was one of their proceedings in the Senate that he allowed to be transmitted live. And people saw how senators voted on that particular bill. It was so open that Nigerians watched and were, most of the time Nigerians are saying these senators are all about money. The other time I saw some senators from South is sleeping. But if their proceedings are transmitted live, it's like a task. Nobody will want to be caught off guard. You understand? So we want it to be transmitted live. And they said, according to this man, he said, process is more important than the outcome. Yes. People will see the processes at which you arrive at a particular decision. It's just like mathematics. And that is what Labour Party is seeking to, is probing. Okay, not actually the result, the outcome of the result that produced it, but how did INEC arrive at announcing to the people? So INEC should get ready to come to the court to explain to Nigerians with all those uploads that did not tally with the announcement and all those wrong calculations that we saw already, numerous of them. INEC should come and explain to us how we're not just looking for the answer of that mathematics question. No, we want to see processes, because each process has mark. For those, the examiners that mark marks mathematics, they give you mark by processes, not by the final result. That is what we want to see. We want it to be televised live, like football season. Oh, it will be interesting. Seriously, it will be interesting. And he made mention of something like the trust is already low. Compare Nigerian judiciary to those of the 80. There was much trust on those of the 80. Now it's like so much executive influence, interference, and manipulations. So we hope the person in charge of the appeal court, election tribunal, will accept that demand. So it's a case whereby you sit in your room. Let's see what these people are doing. You watch, you watch while this the defense, how they bring up their case, how the other people tries to defend, and at the end of the day, what the judge will rule on each matter. All the courtroom tantrums and squabbles. It's going to be interesting. What do you think? Add your comment on the comment section. Please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. Bye-bye for now.